So reading from the Bhagavad Gita 15.20. Iti guya tamam shastram idam uktam maya nagaha etad buddva buddhiman syat krita krityascha bharata. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. This is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures, O sinless one, and it is disclosed now by me. Whoever understands this will become wise, and his endeavors will know perfection. So here Krishna is so clearly saying in this verse, what is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures? Scriptures are so vast. We do not have the lifespan to read all the scriptures. And Krishna is saying, I've just told you what is the most confidential part. So the Lord clearly explains here that this is the substance of all revealed scriptures. And one should understand this as it is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So what is it that what he's been saying in the past two verses? This is the last. That whoever knows Krishna as the Supreme Absolute Truth without doubting, he's the knower of everything. And then he engages in devotional service. And this is the essence all the Vedas are trying to teach us, that Krishna is God and engage in his service. That this is the perfection. So, thus one will become intelligent and perfect in transcendental knowledge. In other words, by understanding this philosophy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engaging in his transcendental service, everyone can become freed from all contaminations of the modes of material nature. Devotional service is a process of spiritual understanding. Wherever devotional service exists, the material contamination cannot coexist. Devotional service to the Lord and the Lord himself are one and the same because they are spiritual. Devotional service takes place within the internal energy of the Supreme Lord. So whenever we are hearing, chanting, worshipping the deity, engaging in bhakti yoga, that is not under Maya, not under Mahamaya. That is not Maya. That is spiritual energy of Krishna. We are acting under the protection, under the shelter of the spiritual energy. All other material activities we do is under Maya. But all the spiritual activities that we do, hearing, chanting about Krishna, deity worship, any devotional activity we are doing, it's under the shelter of Yoga Maya, the spiritual energy. And that's the reason engaging in devotional service is not different than being with Krishna. Why? Because when we say Krishna, we are actually with him. There is a difference between our name and us, ourself. When we call, for example, when we say Coca-Cola, okay, that's a material thing. We say Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, but then we can't taste Coca-Cola. We are just saying Coca-Cola. We can't taste it. We are not drinking it. You know, we are just saying it. But Krishna, when we are saying his name, we are with him because Krishna is and his name are the same. When we are chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, we are being with Krishna. We are in association of Krishna. So the Lord is said to be the sun, and ignorance is called darkness. Where the sun is present, there is no question of darkness. Therefore, whenever devotional service is present, under the proper guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, there is no question of ignorance. So as soon as the sun comes out, it's daytime. It's no more night. It's no more dark. Why? Because the sun is out. So the same way, Krishna is said to be the sun and ignorance is said to be darkness. So wherever there is Krishna, there is no ignorance, cannot be. Provided we are following the bhakti under guidance, under proper guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. Because many people claim that they know Krishna. Many people claim that they are doing bhakti to Krishna. But are they actually doing bhakti to Krishna? Have they been taught properly how to do bhakti by a guru who has in turn been taught by his guru, who has in turn been taught by his guru and his guru and his guru, and the original person is Krishna? So that is important, because many people misuse and misguide us, even in the name of worshipping Krishna. So we have to be careful. Everyone must take to this consciousness of Krishna and engage in devotional service to become intelligent and purified. Unless one comes to this position of understanding Krishna and engages in devotional service, however intelligent he may be in the estimation of some common man, he is not perfectly intelligent. So we have so many heroes. We say, oh, this person is so good. He's a great entertainer. Oh, this person is so good. He's a great economist. Oh, this person is so good. He's a great cook. Oh, this person is so good. He's, I don't know, a great artist. Or this person is so great. He's a great writer. You know, they are so intelligent. They've excelled in their fields. But unless, you see, because whatever excellence they've found in their field, it's going to finish as soon as this body finishes. Unless we also cultivate the knowledge of Krishna, of who we are, and engage in devotional service, only then are we actually situated in eternal life. Because devotional service, it does not end with this life. It's going to continue. We are going to continue with wherever we have stopped in our next life. The word, so it doesn't mean that don't do your material endeavors, do it, but also we also have to learn that we are not the body, we are the soul. We also have to learn this knowledge, and we have to, what we learn, we have to apply it, put it into practice. The word anagha, by which Arjuna is addressed, is significant. Anagha, or sinless one, means that unless one is free from all sinful reactions, it is very difficult to understand Krishna. One has to become free from all contamination, all sinful activities. Then he can understand. But devotional service is so pure and potent that once one is engaged in devotional service, he automatically comes to the stage of sinlessness. So that's why we are to stop our sinful activities, we are advised to follow the 4 regulative principles of religion. That is, no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, and no intoxication. Because this is how we collect sins. These are the storehouses of sin. And so once we stop sinning, then we will be able to understand this transcendental knowledge even more clearer, faster, easier. The process becomes easier. Of course, devotional service, once we engage in devotional service, we just have to begin hearing and chanting, and gradually, our desires to sin will go away, provided we make that effort. We have to. But we have to stop sinning. Otherwise, it's like bathing, taking a bath of an elephant, that the elephant bathes in the lake as he becomes clean, and then he comes back on the shore, and again he puts dust all over him. So because each time we engage in sinful activities, we are creating a lot of sinful karma for us, which is elongating our life here in the material world. So we should stop our sinful activities. No meat eating, no fish eating, no gambling, no intoxication, and no illicit sex, and hear and chant the names of Krishna. And very soon we can see that we will attain love of Godhead. So it's like when we get a disease and we go to the doctor, then the doctor will say, okay, these are the medicines. Suppose I have a bad stomach. Then I go to the doctor. Doctor will say, okay, you take this medicines 3 times a day. But also, you take the medicine, but you avoid, don't eat spicy food, don't eat fried food, whatever. He will give me restrictions. Okay, so he will give the medicine that, okay, do this. And together with that, he'll say, don't do this. Similarly, we are advised that engage in hearing and chanting, engage in devotional service, and don't do sinful activities. It's the same thing, so that we can get cured very fast. Right now, we are in a diseased condition, thinking we are the body. That is our disease, material disease. While one is performing devotional service in the association of pure devotees in full Krishna consciousness, there are certain things which require to be vanquished altogether. The most important thing one has to surmount is weakness of the heart. So when we are engaging in devotional service, we also have to take, because we have a lot of weakness of the heart. One of the weakness of the heart is envy. When we envy others, then we are not telling them about Krishna. We are not telling them, hey, you're not the body or the soul. Don't be so attached to what you're doing. Hear and chant. So envy is one of the weakness of the heart. Another weakness of the heart is our desire for name, fame, profit, adoration. We like to get worship, that all the attention should come to me. And another weakness of the heart is that we get slack in doing our sadhana. We say, it's okay, I can do it later, no problem. What's the emergency? I'm doing it. I will do it. Don't worry, I will take shelter of Krishna. Tomorrow, what's the hurry? I will surrender to Krishna. One day I will surrender to Krishna. Like that. So the first fall down is caused by the desire to lord it over material nature. The reason we are in the material world is because we want to enjoy this material world. Thus, one gives up the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Lord. The second weakness of the heart is that as one increases the propensity to lord it over material nature, he becomes attached to matter and the possession of matter. The problems of material existence are due to these weaknesses of the heart. So we are thinking this material world, whatever we are seeing, is made for my enjoyment. And so we are putting our full energy into enjoying this. But we can see that no matter how much we try to enjoy, if suppose I'm eating, somebody tells me, eat and eat and eat and eat, I will say, no, I'm full now. I can't eat so much right now. I have to stop. Somebody says you go to if suppose for sex desire, somebody says you engage in sex for 24 hours. We'll say, no, I'm sorry, I cannot. So we can see that even though we are trying to enjoy this material nature, we are unable to enjoy it. Somebody says you drink, I will drink. How much can you drink? There will be a point we'll say, oh, I can't drink 24 hours, So we can see actually there is no enjoyment in this material nature. It is there very little, and it is sense gratification. It is not happiness. But we see the devotees, the pure devotees of the Lord, Parikshit Maharaj, 7 days and 7 nights, he's hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam. Sukadev Goswami, 7 days, 7 nights, he's speaking the Srimad Bhagavatam without stopping, without eating, sleeping. The pure devotees are like that. So devotional service is like that. It's unlimited. We feel bliss that we don't want to stop. So in this chapter, the first 5 verses describe the process of freeing oneself from these weaknesses of the heart. And the rest of the chapter, from 6th verse through the end, discusses Purushottam Yoga. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to the 15th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of Purushottam Yoga, the yoga of the Supreme Person. So is that okay?
Yes, so basically they're trying to say that the problems of the material existence are due to our own weaknesses and desires.
Yes, it's because we are attached to this material world. We are so attached. We cause our own suffering. We are not able to understand that this material world does not belong to me. This is not mine. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm actually the soul. I'm not the body. I'm focusing on the wrong things. And that's the reason we are suffering.
That makes sense.
Yeah, our root cause, the root cause of our suffering is ignorance. Ignorance that we are not the body, we are the soul. Ignorance of our true position as eternal, loving servants of Krishna. Our ignorance that we are not the controller, we are not the proprietor, we are not the enjoyer. Our ignorance that, because we are thinking we are God. So that's our ignorance. So ignorance is the root cause. That the root is that we think we are the body. That's our ignorance, root cause of our ignorance. Root cause of our suffering. And that is our ignorance.
Yes.
Well, and then some people, they know that, okay, I'm not the body, I'm the soul. But then as a soul, what are you supposed to do? Then you're supposed to engage in devotional service. You're supposed to hear and chant about Krishna. And that is where the bliss comes. The unlimited bliss comes in bhakti, in being in touch with Krishna. So that this is what this chapter is saying, that all what we are doing here is material. We have to cut that attachment, give up that attachment, and come only till the point we come. We have to come to the point of Krishna. We have to come to surrender him. If we don't surrender him in this life, we are going to take another millions and millions of births, millions and millions of lives. And then one day or the other, we have to come to the point to surrender to Krishna. Why? Because that's our true natural position. That we are not the body, we are eternal loving servants of Krishna is our true natural original position. So it just depends on us. Do we want to accept it now, or we want to wait for another million and millions of births?
Okay. Yes.
So we can stop here. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hari Hari Bol. Thank you for joining.